What's up? Welcome into a history of basketball in 15 sneakers, the podcast from Grind City Media, coming to you live here from the Built for Tough studio in Memphis, Tennessee. I am Lang Whitaker, and I am here with my friend Russ Bengtson, who came down from New York to join us for a couple days. And Russ wrote a book, A History of Basketball in 15 Sneakers.
I honestly still can't believe it.
Yeah.
It's actually real.
I can't either. But we got the book.
That.
We got the book here. And we're going to spend the next couple weeks for you guys. The book came out today, October 10th, the day that you're hearing this, hopefully. And we're going to spend the next few weeks going through this book, talking about basketball and sneakers and history, and lots of little stories and anecdotes along the way.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's sold out by now and you can't find it anywhere. That'll be a good sign. But, I think you'll be able to find it. It's going to be it should be at a lot of places.
Yeah. You told me that you sort of been preparing to write this book since you were a kid.
I feel like I started writing this book when I was like 14. Yeah. I was 14 when the Air Jordan 1 came out, and it was like, that was just sort of a life-changing time. I mean, between the Air Jordan 1 coming out, Michael Jordan entering the NBA, my realizing there were teams out there other than the Mets.
Yeah.
It just made a world of difference. And I've been into sneakers and basketball ever since.
Yeah. I've told you, I think I remember, being in elementary school and getting one of those college basketball preview magazines. I grew up in Atlanta, so Georgia Tech was great, and it was they had all these really exciting players. And there was two things. I remember flipping through the magazine and seeing an ad for the Adidas Forum, a print ad, and it had the technical designs, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, these aren't just shoes, this is like some work of art type thing. And then I saw Len Bias play, and he had a pair of Terminators on that had the big Nike on the back. And I was like, and then Georgetown, all those guys wearing them too. And I was thinking, I got to get a pair of these. And I recently got a pair for the first time, finally, with the big Nike.
And I mean, besides us both having the history of basketball and with sneakers, I mean, we obviously have a lot of history with each other. I mean, going way back, working at Slam, my going to Atlanta and meeting you, and
I think we're in 2023. I've known you for over 2 decades now,
which is terrifying to think about.
You hired me at Slam many, many, many years ago, and you and I worked at Slam. My first issue was 46 or 47, the T-Mac cover.
Wow. Okay, and they're up to issue 390
I don't get now. It's
or
way past that now. Clearly Slam didn't need us. They kept chugging along without us. Although you still write for Slam.
I do. Yeah. I still write Slam of the Month.
And I've done a couple. I did some Ja Morant and Grizzlies covers the last couple of years, so we still get to dip our toe in that, and you kind of can go home again sometimes.
And we've gotten to do tons of sneaker things over the years. We got profiled in the New Yorker. They drew a picture of you and not me, unless I'm supposed to be the tall guy. We've met everyone you could want to meet, pretty much. I think
pretty much. And I brought the picture here of the time we got to meet Michael Jordan.
We met.
And you're wearing the same shirt.
I was going to say, I do have more than one shirt. I promise. You'll see this. I won't wear this for every episode.
I have the sweater. I should have brought it. That same sweater. That was, the launch of the 23?
Yeah, launch of the 23 in Chicago.
We were in Chicago, and we'd spent the day doing all this stuff. And the thing I remember about that dinner is you and I are sitting at a table with some other people, and Michael Jordan is not supposed to be at that dinner. And all of a sudden, Michael Jordan walks into the restaurant. And, of course, all the PR people just go crazy, and they're like, oh, we got to take care of Mike. And they all get up and leave. And he had walked over to the table. They all leave, and sort of you and I are just stuck with Michael Jordan. So we stood up. And, how do you make small talk with Michael Jordan?
You know what? I mean, you managed it somehow. You got your
Well, he owned some restaurants, and that was not his restaurant, but one that formerly had been his restaurant.
I think that was his restaurant, but it wasn't named for him. So it wasn't a super obvious one. It was kind of it was called 167 Blue or some sort of Peyton Manning play call or something.
So Omaha. So but anyway, we talked to him about it. The best part of that thing was, you grew up, Jordan was your favorite player of all time. I grew up in Atlanta. Dominique was my favorite player as a kid, and Jordan was the guy who wouldn't let Dominique be great, basically, in my mind. But my dad loved Michael Jordan, and my dad would, when I was in college, he would send me letters and sign his name and put number 23 under his name. Amazing. And all this stuff. So when that happened, you and I sit there and we talked to Michael Jordan for 5 minutes or whatever, and then somebody comes over and gives him like say, hey Mike, come with us, and they like get him to a private room or something.
Yeah.
And so I run outside and on my phone grab it and call my dad, and I'm like, Dad, you're not going to believe this. I just had this conversation with Michael Jordan for 5 minutes. He goes, what was he like? And I was like, oh, he was super nice. We were chatting, and right then Michael Jordan walks out of the restaurant and walks right past me. And I go, Dad, he's walking by now. And my dad goes, tell him I said hi. And I go, oh, hold on. Hey, Mike, great meeting you. Awesome talking to you. By the way, my father says, tell you hello. And he goes, tell him I said hi. And he walks off. And I go, hey, Dad. And he goes, I heard it.
Amazing. I mean, I don't think I ever heard that story before.
Really? I wrote it in the slam at some point.
I was probably still inside. Like
we had to lay down in the fetal position after that happened.
I was going to say, maybe I fainted. I don't remember.
But yeah, I was like, I think like I'll never be that cool again to my dad as that moment when that happened. But, Jordan clearly influenced us. But then like all these other people who are in this book we'll get to, from Kobe to Stephon Marbury to who else is in this book? All these Steph Curry, all these current guys. And then I learned a lot about the history of basketball because it is a history of basketball. But like I didn't know Chuck Taylor and I didn't know these other people.
And honestly, I mean, there was a lot of stuff I learned putting this together that I didn't know. And again, like we've both been in this industry for a long time and we've both been around the game for a long time and probably are as obsessive as just about anybody. And it's like the fact that there are still new things out there to learn is pretty awesome.
We both have way too many sneakers.
Way too many. Yes.
Although I think both of us have are not nearly as bad as we were.
We have divested some of our collections, but
we still have some.
I mean, talk to either of us. We can,
you have way more. You have a storage unit.
We can help you out.
I don't have that. I have a closet and I have an attic, and that's it. And I try to. My wife keeps a strict 1 in, 1 out policy.
It's a good policy
sneakers
to
come
have.
in. So.
I wish I stood by that policy 20 years ago.
So. We're going to talk about sneakers. We're going to talk about basketball. We're going to talk about the history of basketball and how it all plays together. And we're going to do it for the next couple of weeks. Shout out the guys from Sneak Fest. The show is on Grind City Media every Tuesday at 2. Sherm and those guys helped us get all these shoes that are here. We have almost all the shoes on set here with us, and so we can have like something to kind of show you and be visceral with.
And basically, I mean, I feel like these podcasts are going to be conversations that we've had over the years that are just going to now be broadcast to everyone, for good or for bad. I don't know.
Or that we've had the last 3 days. But either way, we're going to do it. And we're going to let you guys listen in, and hopefully it's fun, and hopefully, this will bring you some enjoyment to your day.
Yeah, hopefully you learn something, but hopefully you enjoy it even more.
So listen in, listen up, and come back in a couple days for your purposes will be chapter 2, and we're going to start with the Converse All-Star, the Chuck Taylor.
Let's go.
Thank you for being here. Thanks for listening. You're listening to the A History of Basketball in 15 Sneakers podcast here on Grind City Media.